Our target number 3 is achieve mindset change through education and training of the present and future leaders in a circular economic thinking. To advance sustainably on a grand scale, we need a grand change in mindsets, and for this to be achieved, we should direct focus on educating or sensitizing people, as this is a very powerful tool towards achieving any goal. Sustainable education should be taken on various platforms simultaneously, such as at university levels across all fields, from arts to sciences, thus stretching from law to engineering, social arts and sciences, and economics or marketing arts. This all is done to erode the old-fashioned context of a linear economy where goods are made, produced, in brackets, used and disposed anyhow by consumers, like for the case of the synthetic polythenes or plastic bottles and bags. The circular economic model entails or ensures that all materials are kept in use as long as possible. The circular economic model entails that all materials are kept in use and as long as possible. In a company setting, board members and executives are the catalyst to this kind of change, as these can give mandates to long-term sustainability goals that advances a circular economy. In a company, board members and company executives are the catalyst to this kind of change, as these can give mandates to long-term sustainability goals that ensures a circular economy. I continue and say a crucial part of educating a company stakeholder is through systematic and transparent sustainability reporting and action. We need to sensitize people. That's why NSG is here, Nurturing Sustainable Generations Uganda, here to sensitize both online and even in the field. We are soon going to get to the field and do this, and we are going to involve a lot of stakeholders, people who it concerns, to make sure this campaign goes on, because it's a global campaign, and climate change is really must be handled globally, not on personal level. US, because US they are the superpower, and some other European countries. Therefore, we should leave them to fight climate change alone. No, we are experiencing the impacts even in Uganda here. We are having the floods, mass movements. We are having floods. We are having landslides. All these things, and it's not that the US is the one generating this. Even us, agriculture is the leading contributor of carbon emissions in Uganda. So we must act together. Of course, the US is trying through its other programs like the USAID. The UN is there, and they are fighting. That's why UN is not centered in Europe or America or Asia alone. It's everywhere to try and address some of these issues. The indicator for this target is the rate at which lakes, rivers, streams, and channels of water are polluted by waste, poorly managed, especially in urbanized areas. For example, plastic bottles and polythene bags swimming in the Nakivubo. Now we have the Nakivubo channel in Kampala here, and it's highly polluted by wastes, by plastic bottles and some other waste. Some companies, they release their sewage at night, and then it pollutes that channel. Indicator 2 is evidence of proper waste management policies used and or adopted by our neighboring states such as Kenya and Rwanda, where polythene bags are highly prohibited by their states and is punishable by either prison sentence and or a huge sum of Kenyan shillings and or Rwandese mafaranga. Now this is Rwandese cash, it's called mafaranga, as a fine to one found in breach of the polythene bags control policy. Now in Kenya or Rwanda, they find you with polythene bags that you're carrying. Simanya, you've bought things from a supermarket or where? Prison sentence. Because they want to fight. They are really environmentally concerned. They don't do that nonsense. But in Uganda here, Kavera, we have a lot of companies that are profit companies that are making lots of polythene bags, and they are untouched. Our target number 4 for goal 1. Our goal was climate action, remember? Full statement of the target. Ensure that green stimulus money or green recovery money effectively and efficiently does fund sustainable environmental development projects and or enterprises not polluting industrial projects. Green stimulus or recovery packages are the proposed environmental, regulatory and fiscal reforms to recover prosperity in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, according to the International Energy Agency. It wrote this in 2021. This move involves world's trillions of dollars of green stimulus money or packages that are intended for kick-starting environmental renewal, will assist creating and retaining jobs and actually go direct to sustainable resource development and or sustainable enterprises or projects. These projects may include developing renewable energies, clean public transport, eco-friendly buildings, and sustainable corporate or financial practices. The overarching purpose of green recovery is to help combat the effects of the economic recession caused by the COVID-19 while also implementing renewable energy solutions to address climate change, according to the International Energy Agency 2021 or the Commonwealth 2022. You can read Commonwealth 2022 for further reference and IEA or the International Energy Agency 2021 report. Read those for further reference about the green recovery or green stimulus money. These initiatives are supported by the United Nations and the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. The UN is the one driving the COVID recovery. Now, this money, green recovery money, is the money that is there because during the pandemic, most of the countries concentrated more on saving lives of people than nature. So in that process, nature was abandoned, and some of the ways it got stagnant. So people, some of it was affected. For example, in Uganda, poaching cases increased. So now the green recovery money is there to kickstart or to cover that gap that was left because COVID-19. All nations now focused on saving their people. How do we do we make that people survive? How do we make it that people survive? And then the food, how do our people feed? So environment was ignored, forests and other stuffs were ignored. It was not the major focus. So now the green recovery money is that money to kickstart, because that gap, we should cover that gap. Now green recovery money is that money to cover that gap and address the environmental issues that arise within that period to come back on the level, because we have sustainable development goals and they have target the sustainable development goals. They have a time frame by which they must have been at least achieved to a certain percentage. Now the COVID-19 affected that time of achievement, so the green recovery money is there to make sure to cover that gap, and it is given to each and every nation. And they are saying these initiatives are supported by the United Nations and the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. The indicators for this target, the target is survived by one indicator: evidence of low percentages of economic bail out money used on clean energy development worldwide, with only 2% as the figure allocated to achieving renewable energy development, according to the EIA report of 2021. The OECD data also shows that only 17% of COVID-19 recovery investment fund had been allocated to green recovery as of March 2021, which is more worse, especially in developing nations. Look at this indicator. It says evidence of low percentages of economic bailout money used on clean energy development worldwide, with only 2% as the figure allocated to achieving renewable energy development worldwide. Yeah. You read the International Energy Agency report of 2021, you will have a clear image of this. Also, the OECD data, the Organization for Economic Development, Economic Cooperation and Development data also shows that only 17% of COVID-19 recovery investment funds had been allocated to green recovery as of March 2021, which is more worse, especially in developing nations. Our country also being a part here. Our country is developing. We are coming in our next video to our target number 5. Please watch our next video. I thank you.